You know what's strange? Japan has one of the highest numbers of millionaires per capita in the world. But if you walk through Tokyo, you probably won't see Lamborghinis. You won't see people flashing Rolex watches. You won't see Instagram-style luxury everywhere. In fact, you could walk past a millionaire and never even notice. Meanwhile, in America, people earn more money than ever before, yet nearly 60% live paycheck to paycheck. Same planet, completely different results. So what's the difference? Japan didn't build wealth by showing it. They built it quietly, through small daily habits that compound over time. And the crazy part, these habits are not complicated. Anyone can start them today. No luck, no special talent, just discipline and awareness. Today, I'm breaking down 7 Japanese habits that quietly build wealth. And trust me, the last one completely changed the way I think about money. If you're tired of the loud, broke lifestyle, comment, quiet wealth. And if you believe small habits can change your future, comment Kaizen. Now let's start with the first habit, because this one alone can completely change your relationship with money. Most people have no idea where their money goes. Seriously, ask someone where their paycheck went last month, and you'll hear something like, I don't know. It just disappeared. Subscriptions, impulse purchases, food delivery, random Amazon orders. Money vanishes without you even noticing. But in Japan, people have practiced something called kakebo for more than 100 years. It started in 1904. The idea is simple. Write down every single expense. By hand, not in an app, in a notebook. Because writing forces awareness. Studies show people who track spending automatically spend 15 to 20% less. Not because they restrict themselves, but because they finally see the truth. Kakebo asks 4 simple questions. How much money do I have? How much do I want to save? How much am I spending? And the most important one, how can I improve? Not perfection, improvement. Because awareness is always the first step toward wealth. But awareness alone is not enough. Because once you start tracking money, you notice something else. Something even more shocking. How much of it gets wasted. And that brings us to the second habit. Americans waste nearly 40% of the food they buy. Think about that. You work hard for money, buy groceries, and then throw half of it away. But waste doesn't stop with food. Clothes worn once and forgotten. Gadgets bought and never used. Items replaced instead of repaired. In Japan, there's a word for this. Mottainai. It means feeling regret over waste, because every object contains value. The money you worked for, the time it took to create, the resources used to produce it. When you waste something, you're not just throwing away an object, you're throwing away your effort. The Japanese mindset is simple. Buy quality, use completely. One good item used 100 times is better than 10 cheap items used once. Wealth is not just about what you earn, it's about what you don't waste. But eliminating waste only saves money. The next habit is what actually creates wealth over time. Most people try to change their lives overnight. I'll start saving next month. I'll fix everything on Monday. But Monday comes. Motivation disappears, and nothing changes. The Japanese follow a different philosophy. It's called Kaizen, continuous, small improvement. Just 1% better every day. And here's the math most people ignore. If you improve 1% daily for a full year, you don't end up 300% better. You become 37 times better. That's the power of compounding. Applied to money, Kaizen looks like this. Save $5 today. Save $10 next week. Increase slowly. Tiny improvements. Repeated every day. Something as simple as making coffee at home, instead of buying it, can save around $1,800 a year. Invest that money for 20 years, and it becomes more than $90,000. Small habits, massive results. But Kaizen only works if your life isn't constantly draining your energy. Which brings us to the next habit. Because many people don't spend money out of need. They spend it to escape stress. Most people work jobs they hate. They count the hours until Friday, then spend the weekend trying to recover from Monday. But here's the hidden cost. When you hate your work, you spend money to cope. Shopping, expensive vacations, stress eating, impulse spending. Money becomes emotional relief. But in Japan, there is a philosophy called ikigai, your reason for waking up in the morning. It sits at the intersection of four things: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. When these four overlap, work stops feeling like survival. And when your life has purpose, you stop spending money trying to escape it. But modern culture still creates another problem: the constant pressure to upgrade everything. And the Japanese have a powerful answer for that too. Social media has convinced us that everything must be perfect. Perfect house, perfect car, perfect lifestyle. And when our life doesn't match that image, we try to fix it by spending money. But the Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi says something different. True beauty exists in imperfection. A worn wooden table has character. An older car has history. A simple home is enough. When you stop chasing perfection, something powerful happens. You stop upgrading things that never needed upgrading. And that alone can save thousands of dollars every year. Because perfection is expensive. Contentment is wealth. But the next habit might be the most powerful of all, because it affects both your health and your finances. In Okinawa, one of the longest living places on Earth, people follow a simple rule. It's called Hara Hachi Bu. Eat until you are 80% full. Not stuffed, just satisfied. And this simple habit creates powerful side effects. You eat less, spend less on food, stay healthier, live longer. But the deeper lesson goes far beyond food. You don't need 100% of your desires satisfied. 80% is enough. Applied to money, live on 80%. Save 20%. That small gap becomes wealth. Because the last 20% of consumption usually costs the most and delivers the least happiness. But there is still one final habit. And honestly, this one might be the most powerful. Because it removes the biggest financial trap: comparison. There are many things in life you cannot control. Where you started financially, the economy, inflation, other people's success. But many people spend their energy worrying about exactly those things. And stress often leads to spending. Shopping to feel better, trying to keep up with others, trying to prove something. But the Japanese use a powerful word: shogunai. It means it cannot be helped. Not giving up. Acceptance. Release what you cannot control. Focus only on what you can. Your habits, your discipline, your decisions today. Because wealth is always built in that controllable space. Here's the truth. Wealth doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need luxury cars or social media flexing. Real wealth grows quietly through awareness, discipline, contentment, and patience. Japan rebuilt an entire economy from ashes using these principles. You don't need a catastrophe to start. You just need one decision today. Pick one habit, start small, stay consistent, and let time do the rest. Because quiet wealth may be invisible at first, but one day it becomes impossible to ignore.